I'm going to begin by asking you a very boring question, but what was it about the Duff that first appealed to you and attracted you to this project?
It's not a boring question, number one. And number two, I read it. I wanted to be Bianca, the designated ugly fat friend character, and our director was like, I think you're more of a Madison. Damn you, Ari. He was like, would you, take a look at this role and consider it? And I was like, of course, because I love this movie. It was really the first movie I'd read in such a long time that was so funny, so uplifting, like really just a great story.
So what was it about the role of Bianca initially that you wanted to take on?
Everything. I loved her character. I love her sarcasm, her wittiness. Like I loved her dry humor. That's so me. I was bullied so much growing up that I felt for this character. I understood what she was going through.
So in regards to that, were you able to draw from your own sort of experiences to help craft the character of Madison, and sort of were you kind of using anyone in particular as to kind of inspire the character?
I really use Rose McGowan and Heart and Jawbreaker because a lot of people say that, the mean girl is the dumb girl, the pretty blonde with big boobs that doesn't really know what she's doing. And I wanted to make sure that this was so opposite of her because Bianca would not be afraid of my character if she was dumb. That would not work because she's not intimidating. So I wanted to make sure that she was very played down, hair and makeup, wardrobe wise. So I'm basically, I don't know if you noticed the whole movie, I'm just wearing like a tank top and jeans.
Because I was wondering, so, I mean, Madison is so kind of vindictive and almost like pantomime like villain. It must have been such a fun role to play though. You must have had so much fun with this one.
It was fun. It was also, it had its perks, but it was also a little sad because I love being funny. I love making people laugh. I love bringing smiles to people's faces. And in this, I'm the only character in the whole film that's not funny. Everybody asks me like, oh my God, this is so funny. Like your character's going to be hilarious. And I'm like, she's really not that funny because the whole entire time I'm just so focused on being, mean. Not like Regina George. That's what everybody compares this character to. But she is like nice, and then she's mean behind your back. So that makes her more likable because you see more of a nicer side of her, and that's what makes her funny. My character is just mean, mean, mean the whole entire time. It's just really a terrible character.
I thought she was quite funny though.
Really?
Yeah,
You really
in
thought
her
so?
in her meanness, I thought she was
Oh
quite
my
funny.
God, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I was wondering. I mean, of course, this is sort of based sort of loosely on a book. And Madison isn't a character that was written in the book. I was wondering if that gave you a bit more freedom in regards to taking on this role.
The Duff. This is based on the Duff. Cody Keplinger wrote it. She wrote it when she was 17. And it's not like, oh, you have to follow the book, you have to make these characters. Really, me and Ari made this character I remember looking at the script and I was like, as long as she's not OMG Valley Girl, like I want her to be a different sort of mean girl. I want her to be the more realistic mean girl that you have in your high school where she is slit your throat mean. Like she is, she's conniving. She's vindictive. That's exactly what you said.
So when I first sort of read about this movie, I was a bit worried because you read Designated Ugly
Oh,
Fat
and
Friend.
it sounds so mean,
And
but
you
don't
think-
get your knickers in a
Yeah.
twist. It's really, the designated ugly fat friend, that meaning, it's just a bunch of letters thrown together. Just as any label would be. The mean girl, the jock, the dumb one, the smart one, it's all the same thing. It just goes in that same category. And if we dumbed down high school to fit for the big screen, come on, these teens would call it out. We know that's not realistic, and people need to know how mean high school is. People need to know how mean these kids are that they say these ridiculous things to each other.
Because this really does ridicule on stereotypes, doesn't it? And kind of it's quite I don't know. Yeah, it's very tongue in cheek. This movie, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I was just wondering. I mean, this film does feel like a real kind of throwback to sort of quite classic kind of high school comedies and dramas of old. I was wondering if that's a genre you've always if you've sort of grown up loving, and what's your favourite kind of teen high school movie?
My favorite is probably Jawbreaker and Heathers and Mean Girls. Those are my definitely favorites. But also I love all the John Hughes movies. Like I love 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club and everything like that too.
And you sort of saying before, this film very much likes to kind of label and sort of put every kind of different student into a certain category. I was wondering, what sort of student were you? How would you which sort of category would you fall into at school?
They labeled me as the pretty dumb girl growing up, and I'd like to say that I'm currently proving them wrong. Right now, if I was in high school, I'd definitely be the weirdo or the funny one, because everybody in the cast, like, we did this interview where they asked us, like, who is who, and everybody was like, no, Bella's the funny one, because I'm so out there and I'm, like, so weird and, yeah, just weird, just really weird.
So, yeah, I'm sure not many people that labelled you that have got 6 million Twitter followers like you have. Do you feel a kind of sense of responsibility knowing you've got such a huge kind of following and so many people that look up to you?
Yeah, I think I have that sense of responsibility, but also I have the sense of responsibility to just be a teenager every day and make sure that I do make mistakes, because that's the only way you're going to learn ever in life. And people have to get used to that.
Yeah. And just finally, very quickly, you've got a couple of horror movies coming out. What is it about that genre that you're quite interested in exploring?
I love horror. I love everything horror. I remember when I met Mr. Jason Blum himself, and he came on the set of Amityville, and I literally talked his ear off, and I thought I blew the whole entire thing. I really did. He was like, I gotta go. I have a meeting to attend, and I was like, oh my god, he hates me. And then he called literally like 20 minutes later and was like, oh my god, I love her in every film, all this stuff. So I got really so lucky on that one. I have Amityville Horror and Home Invasion.
Brilliant. We're looking forward to both. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,